Okay, we're gonna start the meeting. It should be short and sweet, I hope. We have to call this meeting as a separate meeting so we can talk about discussing further meetings. We're having some technical difficulties. Sorry for that. But we're working through them with our IT department. Many people feel, and myself as well, that I feel that 4 times per year for the Board of Health does not cover the necessity of the county. Neighbors in our Lewis County, for example, they meet monthly. And so therefore, this meeting is to request or to talk about further meetings, and I'd entertain a motion for further meetings. Your microphone.
You just said it, I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?
Sure, just that I feel that we need more meetings, and so I'd entertain a motion to have more than the 4 meetings that we have right now.
I second that.
Who made the motion?
You have to make the motion.
Oh, okay. I make a motion that we have a meeting more than 4 times a year for the Board of Health.
Okay, I'll open it up for discussion.
Is there a second?
Can I second the motion?
I'll second it for you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, let's open it for discussion.
What do you think? Sorry, what are you thinking in terms of
Um,
more than 4 is pretty broad?
Yeah, no, talking with the lawyers, they said that we could put 12 meetings, so monthly meetings, but I personally feel that we don't probably need every single month. But if we put 12 meetings on the calendar, we are allowed to cancel what we don't need.
Could we just put 6 on the calendar so there's more predictability? I mean, every other month instead of quarterly?
I think we need at least 6. I don't know if 6 is enough. I would say more 6 to 8. I'm really not pushing for 12 meetings a year. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before. In the early times, we really need to meet more frequently. We can always change whatever we decide here, so it's not like we have to get too elaborate here. So if you want 12 a year, I'm okay with that.
And the 12 per year is to put onto the calendar, so the clerk has a set schedule, but it's not my intention to meet every month. But definitely more than 6, less than 12, somewhere in the middle. And the meetings would be announced, of course, with plenty of lead time.
So you want more than 6, so you're not, 6 isn't good enough, not where you're looking at anyway. So
Right.
one of my concerns is I didn't get notified for this meeting until about a week before. And so I guess that in my estimation, that's not enough time. And so would these be announced more than a week before?
I'm gonna.
I
ask the
don't mean to
clerk.
throw anybody under the bus.
Yeah,
but
Now, look, if we have 12 meetings, that's the default, and you will know about them because they will be scheduled in a regular fashion. So I don't think that's a germane issue at the moment.
what is the normal lead time?
We have to give the public 24-hour notice.
And the rest of the board, or no, you normally send it out a long time before.
It depends on when you cancel it, yeah, but it would be on the calendar, but we wouldn't publicly put it on a notice until 24 hours.
Really?
Because it's a regular meeting, it's already, that lead time's already established for the public. We, the commissioners and I, receive the agenda sometime during the week, typically toward the end of the week, and we adjust it all the way to the end. And then at the meeting itself, we're always happy enough to accommodate the circumstances of the moment. And I see no reason why we wouldn't be as flexible as that.
Okay. Well, so then the motion on the floor is to have 12 meetings per year. I would say that the meeting times would, and the dates,
No, the motion on the floor is to have more than 4 meetings a year, more than a quarterly meeting.
more than 4. So can we amend the motion to,
Yeah, someone can amend the motion. It can't be you.
I can't,
You want me to amend it? I'll amend it to 12 meetings a year.
yeah, I think that would work. And again, my intention is not for all 12. It would be, but to get it on the calendar is what I've been told. That's how we have to do it.
And, oh, I'm sorry.
That's right. I was going to point out, look who's on the screen now. It's Dr. Weber. Takes care of patients.
I appreciate the fact that it makes
You're
sense to
muted,
have it
Dennis.
on the regular calendar. You know, my concern is that you schedule your life around these 12 meetings and then you hear 4 days before the meeting that it was canceled and you took a pass on something because you assumed you had a meeting. So I would guess my request would be that that Board of Health members be notified 2 weeks prior to the meeting that the meeting is going to be a go or it's not going to be a go. And I don't think that's unreasonable for
No,
folks
that
who-
doesn't sound unreasonable to me at all.
And I guess the other question I have is what day and what time, or is that premature of a premature conversation at this point?
Should we take a vote just on the frequency, the decision?
Because that's the motion unless we continue amending, and you can't continue unless you handle the current amendment. So-
Okay. So the current amended motion would be to have 12 meetings per year. That's it.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye. I believe that's any opposed, Dennis?
I didn't hear the amendment. I didn't hear it, so I'm okay.
Okay, then that motion passes. The next discussion, I guess, would be the times and dates of the meeting. I believe the clerk has told me that the 10 o'clock on the last Tuesdays of the month is what we have right now. Is that correct?
Yes, there's 2 remaining for the rest of the year, one in July and one in October.
Okay, so I would just say to keep the same 10 o'clock last Tuesday of each month.
But
I-
did you say there are only 2 remaining?
Oh, those are the ones that are already set.
Oh, okay. So what's wrong with this time? Is this not a good?
I have a
time?
conflict in the afternoons.
Oh, okay. Okay, my concern about the 10 o'clock, is that right after the commissioners meeting?
It's during it.
And so it often gets bumped around because of scheduling and timing and whatever's on the agenda runs long, runs short. So is there another time that would be a good option that we can have a fairly firm start and finish time?
Well, you can have a firm start, I'm sure. The finish time is going to be up to us.
I think we have been bumped. I mean, we haven't often, sometimes we haven't started on time because the commissioners are involved in
No, I
something.
understood that. I
Oh,
accepted
okay.
that.
I didn't hear that.
So I do like the time during BOCC that we fit our time in because people are coming to hear about county matters. And we're just right in the middle of that during that meeting on Tuesdays. Whereas I think it's difficult to get people to come to these other times. And they're probably not that well publicized. And, you know, I do like the opportunity to have public involved. And it seems like we draw that because of BOCC.
Right. I think that's
Yeah.
probably the only.
You're
reason
a
we
good
that.
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I sympathize with the being stuck in the middle, so I will work as hard as I can to keep it within that 1 hour time frame. And I think by having more meetings, we probably will be able to. And I suppose that if we have a something that looks like it's going to have a longer discussion that will take longer, we can notify you and maybe change schedules around? Is that a possibility? No. Okay,
We'll just,
so we'll just roll with the, stick to 1 hour.
I make a motion to have our regular Board of Health meetings at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays during the BOCC. Is that like, do we say that's during that meeting? Or it's separate from, I understand that, but
The last Tuesday of the
last
month.
Tuesday, sorry, wedged
at
in
10
between.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point, the board chairman will call recess and proceed to the Board of Health. One of the things we have to do is we can't be involved in losing time during that meeting, trying to rearrange ourselves. So that's something where I would probably encourage the Board of Health members that aren't here normally to come in before 9 o'clock, make sure everything's in the right place. Maybe the clerk of the board can make a comment on that. I'm just thinking, I don't want to lose 10 minutes of time because the audience is going to
There's-
lose patience.
It's awkward.
I
Come
agree.
and go. It is messy. So that's not a problem for me to come in before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I think I have been arriving at least a half hour earlier,
So the meeting, just for clarification, the meeting's at 10, not 9?
10.
Okay, I thought you kept saying 9.
Did I say
It's
9?
at 10.
I think Arn
Okay.
mistakenly said that.
I said 9 just because setting up all the stations are an issue. But
That's a good
I
idea.
also think if we're going to be doing this, then
Can-
we'd better be able to, all of us be on our own laptop. And the laptops belong to the staff, and the citizen
Yeah.
table should probably be out there.
Yeah, my laptop isn't probably adequate. I'd have to buy a new one.
Yeah,
I don't think I want to do
I
that.
think I would prefer to have the loaners set up ahead of time.
Right.
Loaners or the extra computers
Yeah.
set up ahead of time.
Kelly, is that something we could ask Purvey to do? Have them set up before 9. I mean, it's okay if they're sitting here while the BOCC meeting is, and then at 10, their system would be here. They just a matter of signing in and going.
Yeah, and Bob is here to help them because most of the time it's passwords
Yeah.
that we're having an issue and not.
So I
getting
think
the computers.
we can staff and stuff, we can have them set for that day.
Right,
Then
I
when they
think.
walk in and just be signing in and.
I think if we have a generic laptop like we're doing right now with
Right.
MJ, then everything is fine. They don't
Yeah.
really have to be in here.
Right.
But
Do we have what we need?
but the laptop should already
Have
be
the right,
logged
do we
in.
have the laptop?
Yeah.
Ahead of time, or are we borrowing?
We're supposed to stay here.
Oh, okay, so there's some, for this purpose. I don't have to bring my own.
No,
Mine is not fast and it would be a problem.
But I'm free to bring my own, is that correct?
if you'd like.
Well, then the only question is this particular computer sitting to my left that has technical issue, not a password issue.
We will have those fixed by then.
And IT, Bob says we can have it fixed. Well, that sounds good to me. Is there any further discussion? Sorry, we have to vote on that motion now for the last Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock between the Board of Commissioners meetings.
But you need a second.
Yeah, yes. Would somebody like to second that motion?
I'll second that.
You can't.
You can't, you proposed it.
You-
Oh, sorry.
Second.
Thank you for the second. Any further discussion on it? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Hey,
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Weber.
Oh, there's-
Okay, so then it passes. And unless there's something else, anybody else would like to discuss?
I'd like to get something a little clearer. The trips on the Board of Health, should be approved by someone not on the board necessarily, or by, you cannot self-approve travel on company money is really all I'm saying. So I don't know who approved this last trip, but we should have a process that says director of HHS, I guess, could approve it, but I would like to know on what basis and so forth, because I get HHS emails frequently about all these conferences, and I'll be frank, I don't see too much value in them.
So is there not a process for other departments and other boards and commissions?
That's irrelevant. We're talking about this here. Now, the Board of County Commissioners has its own requirement. And it requires 2 county commissioners to agree to pay for travel or a conference for another commissioner or for a commissioner.
So my point was, if there's something else in place, for instance, if a planning commission or one of the other boards and commissions has a process, why can't that be adapted to use for this board?
I'm not sure. what the-
I would simply do what we're doing with the Board of County Commissioners, which do it with the Board of Health. The Board of Health has to approve that it's worth the travel.
Are we going to just create our own policy? I mean, is that what you're looking for us to put together a procedure?
I don't think we're doing something extraordinary here.
I'm sorry. I guess I'm confused.
So I'm being told that we need to cut that short for now, and that we are only
Not
allowed to
enough.
focus on the,
Yeah, you can only have
Okay.
one
One thing.
issue, apparently.
Yeah,
but I understand your point, and that it did come from HHS. Carol specifically invited us, just like it happened in the Spokane one. So I thought that that was something we were supposed to do. But I agree with you that any kind of future travel, we should maybe bring it up for the board to get it approved first.
And you know, I just want to throw in, Arn, you're right about, I worry about waste. I don't know if that was what you were implying, but the thing is that maybe one person could represent whoever, because Kelly brought back a lot of really good information about what's happening. And it kind of gives us forewarning of what might be coming down ahead of time to kind of get our defenses ready if we have things that we don't agree with or do agree with, depending. But he found
should
some
have it-
concerning things in the workshop that was very informative.
We should have it approved, though. I agree that
Yeah,
So I
me
guess
too.
my question is that, should that be on the agenda for our next month's meeting then? Developing a process or approving a process?
I will take a note for that.
Yeah, or a work session.
yeah, one thing to note on the regular meetings, then you don't have to follow the agenda exactly. It's nice to have an agenda, but miscellaneous do occur. So it's good to have an agenda.
Mhm.
Well, and that's a good reminder. If it sits on the agenda, we'll remember to have that conversation at the
Yep.
next meeting.
Yeah,
Yep, good point.
maybe we can do some research on how it's done.
Any further comments or discussion?
Well, I did want to take just a few minutes, if you don't mind, just to alert you. I was late a few minutes because I was invited to attend the Incident Command Management Team meeting for the Mount St. Helens Highway washout.
Mm.
And interesting, they confirmed that the landslide happened in Skamania County, right just above where the outlet tunnel empties into the creek. And again, that's all in Skamania County, which means that Johnson Ridge Observatory is closed for the season. And it may be a year before the road gets rebuilt, because it's going to be an expensive fix and they have to figure out how to get the money for it. It is a state highway, so that's a WashDOT problem, but there's going to be a whole different change to search and rescue, because so many tourists will be coming up through Skamania County on the less desirable forced highways. So that's going to be something interesting that we'll want to pay attention with. We want to be as collaborative and cooperative as we can. So Interesting time. So
Dennis, are there
Yeah.
cars stuck over on the other side, do you know? or is
the
it-
cars are still there. They haven't figured out how to get them out yet.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I want to use this as an example of how we normally operate. This is a worthwhile message for the public to hear. It's not on the agenda. We went ahead and did it anyhow. And that's kind of a discussion ongoing, but we will avoid the mandates that only one topic can be discussed at a emergency meeting or whatever it is that we call this meeting.
And to be clear that the votes that we just took that changed the meeting frequency will be communicated or rewritten into as the bylaws. It's part of the bylaws, the meeting. So I believe the votes that we just took, instead of what the bylaws say, which is quarterly, will now reflect 12 months.
Yes, the better way to do that is to point to a schedule held by the clerk of the board, so that you don't have to change. Amending the bylaws should be something where we're amending something of significance. And the schedule itself is probably not, in my opinion, up at that level.
I agree with that too. I'm just repeating what I was told. So-
Right, so you amend the bylaws to say refer to the published meeting schedule.
And will that begin next month, the monthly? meetings?
We will announce the next meeting. I'm not sure what the schedule is yet, unless you have one already, Kelly.
It's Tuesday. We decided it's Tuesday?
Yes, the last Tuesday of the month. So that would be,
So it'll be May. That'll be
well,
the
I
next
would,
meeting.
So the 30th, is that correct?
So we have another one this month?
is
Okay, that's.
June
regular.
better? Yes.
May
She's-
30th.
Yes, May 30th would be available. to Start.
May
So
30th.
let me suggest that we have the bylaws amendment ready for us to consider at our May 30th meeting. That'll get us back on track.
Okay, that will be on the agenda. So the next meeting will be May 30th at 10 o'clock.
I will not be able to attend that. It's my medical date for surgery, so.
Yeah, yeah, I think I would push this off until the next month then, because since we've just changed this, unless people have a problem with that, to go to June, the last Tuesday of the month of June. That on your calendar, Kelly?
Yeah, that's the 27th of June.
27th June, and that's okay?
Mhm.
So I would call the next meeting to be the 27th of June. And we will put that on the agenda with the bylaws amendment as well as the travel approval process.
Does everyone agree with that?
Hmm?
To skip the May 30th?
Does anybody have a problem with the
That was just my
June?
issue, but
No,
I don't wanna
there's
disrupt-
others.
whole group.
Is that
I can't
okay
be
with
on- I
you,
can't be on
Commissioner?
that
All three, let me ask all the three commissioners, the 27th of June, okay? They're shaking their head. Yep, Commissioner Weber too. Okay. With that done, then I'll adjourn the meeting and thank you all for your time and patience.
Thank you.